Well, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 is going to pull it into perspective. This is kind of the final wisdom from the old crotchety guy that we're learning from, basically. So we're going to get into this and learn what are these last final things we get to learn at the end of this conversation. So verse 1, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So he's saying, remember God, learn to love God early in your life, because when you get older, life's going to suck, and you're going to be glad you know who God is. And that's a good point that we're going to talk about more as he expounds on this. So verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the door shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Or the ever silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity. So I'm going to pause here for a second before we move on. As he went through that whole discussion here on this, basically, when things go bad, life sometimes sucks. Life has hard times. You'll come upon hard times. You'll be alone sometimes. You're going to be tired. You're going to be sick. You're going to have problems. Opportunities are going to pass you by. You're not going to get the chances you wanted. Things are going to happen. Natural disasters are going to happen. Stuff's going to happen to you. That's what they're getting at in here. Okay. Now, here's the thing is when you think about this, this is why he said in verse 1, why you need to remember God. The more you remember God in your life, the sooner we teach our youth to look to God in their life, then when they get into the hard parts of life, they will know where to look to find joy and happiness. God can take this life that seems dark and bleak and turn it into something that can be very fulfilling and amazing. That is the miracle of God we can do. So if you look at life from a standpoint of worldliness, that'll be a standpoint of cynicism. You could look at the Wild West, how crazy it was back then. We glamorized the shooters and the shootouts and the fights and cool stuff and the cowboys and things. But you got to realize, man, life was really brutal. Life was really hard on the frontier. You know, if you watch the beginning of Little House on the Prairie, that first episode, they're trudging through snow. They're dealing with all kinds of weather and problems. They make their cabin. Indians set upon them. They're afraid for their lives. They're challenged. They're struggling. They're starving. That's life. That was the 1800s. That's what it was. I mean, 2 meals a day was spectacular back then. If you got 1 meal a day, you were doing decent. So that is the thing he's looking at. If you look at life from a mortal or worldly standpoint, life looks bleak. Even in today's modern world, when you think, I get up, I go to work, I sit at my desk or I do my job, I go home, I hang out with the family, I try to distract myself, I sit and rest, I'm tired, I'm depressed, I don't feel so good, I've got problems and challenges, the economy sucks, the world is at war, there's challenges everywhere, natural disasters everywhere, the sky is falling, life sucks. And the reality is it kind of does. But if you put God in your life, he will add a flair. He will add opportunity and joy and happiness to your life that you cannot find anywhere else. You cannot find it in worldly endeavors. Some people, the whole point of being in extreme games is to feel a high, to feel alive, because that's the exact opposite of what you feel when you go to work. You don't feel alive at work. Most people feel like they're half dead when they go to work. So they do these crazy things to feel something. And the thing is that's not completely accurate. It is good, but it is not great. The great is having the Spirit of God with you, because that can help you more than just in this life. And that is important. It can help you in ways that you can't even imagine and fathom. There is a peace that comes from the gospel that you cannot get anywhere else. Doesn't matter how much you meditate. Doesn't matter how many mountains you climb, how many skydiving trips you go on, how many adventures you do. There is a peace that only comes from God and knowing Christ. And that peace is what you want. It is greater, more powerful, more life-changing than anything else. And it will help you put a perspective in your life that'll help you to see your life as valuable. Not just this person on a, I'm on the animal's wheel spinning, just doing the same thing day in, day out, basically. Ooh, about sneeze. Sorry about that. Oh, there it was. Okay. Apologize. So, in life, we want to get off that wheel. We want to feel alive. That's why we go on so many vacations. People have this tendency to say, oh, if I go buy more stuff, if I do more things, if I'm involved in more activities, if I'm making more money, if I'm building things up, if I'm doing things, I'll be happy. And that's not true. True happiness comes from knowing God and our relationship with Him. That's where real happiness comes from. And if you haven't taken the time to explore that, you need to. It is absolutely, absolutely worth it. Keep working on that. Now, let's move on to the rest of the wisdom we're getting here from this. So verse 9, and moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. So this is verse 9 is a commentary, not something from the preacher, but a commentary about what the preacher did. Now, same with verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. So this would be kind of like the narrator saying these verses. Now, verse 11, the words of the wise are as goads, or sharply pointed sticks used to spur oxen onward, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. So the words of the wise are motivations. They are things that can propel us forward, that can put things together for us. The nails that fasten things together, that's what wisdom can do for us. Why is it important for us to read books and to gain wisdom, not just smarts, but wisdom, which is knowing how to apply what we've learned, is it pulls things together and helps us make it work. Verse 12, and further, by these men, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, but much study is a weariness of the flesh. So again, learning wisdom is good, but be careful getting too far into it. Verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. This is what he's saying here. This is what it sums up. The 12 chapters of this whole conversation with this old, wise, crotchety man that we've had. He says, this is the thing that matters. This is the sum of everything we've talked about. Fear God, or respect God, and keep His commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. He's saying that's what life is about. Life isn't about stuff. Life isn't about fame. Life isn't about travel. Life isn't about all these amazing things. It's about understanding our relationship with God and doing what He has asked us to do. That's what it is all about. The whole point of everything in life is about that. In fact, Abraham chapter 3, verse 25, he says in there, and we will prove them herewith. So this is God explaining the purpose of why this mortal existence is even here. We will prove them herewith to see if they will do all things whatsoever the Lord their God shall command them. That is what life is about. And that's exactly what the preacher is saying here. You're going to be tested in all these experiences. You're going to have good experiences. You're going to have bad experiences. You're going to have good times. You're going to have hard times. The point of all of it is, can you find God in all of it? And can you keep his commandments? Because that is the only ultimate question that everything in life is about. Why did that person cut you off in traffic? It's to test you, to see if you will be Christ-like. Why did that person steal from you or hurt you? Or why was your boss a jerk? Or why was your spouse mad at you? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. All of it is there to answer the question, will you keep the commandments? Will you do what you have been asked to do by God? That is the question that our very existence is based on. And that's what the preacher's saying. It all comes down to that. Do you know God, and are you willing to keep his commandments? That's what it is. In fact, Elder John D. Taylor in 1961, his October conference report said this. He said, if we keep all of God's commandments, we will enjoy a feeling of calmness, serenity, and strength. This will serve as a bulwark to protect us against the winds and storms created by the tensions and uncertainties of present chaotic world conditions. We need not wait until we get to heaven to obtain peace and happiness. We can have heaven on earth, here and now. And we do that through keeping the commandments, following God, and getting to know him better. That is important. So verse 14, to conclude this, for God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. It's all going to be tested. It's all going to be tried. We're going to have to answer for all of it. The only question is, are you going to be saying, I'm glad I did follow the commandments? Or are you going to be saying, I wish I had followed the commandments? That is the ultimate question. And only you can answer that in your life. So that's the thing to be thinking about. How can we say, how can every moment of our life help us to say, I'm glad I did, rather than I wish I had? So just remember that in every moment you come to, am I going to say at the end, if I make this choice, am I going to say, I'm glad I did this? Or am I going to say, I wish I'd made a better choice? Because that's what life is about, keeping those commandments of God. And are we going to be happy? If I make this choice this certain way, am I going to be happy standing before God as we talk about it? Or am I going to be worried that this choice is going to, I'm going to have to do some explaining when I get to heaven? That's the thing to think about, okay? That's what life is all about. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos. This is the book of Ecclesiastes that we've just wrapped up. Next is the Song of Solomon. That's going to be an interesting discussion we have over there. So stay tuned for that one for our next video. And if you are liking these videos, please subscribe to our channel. Like the videos as well. The more likes we get on the channel, on each of the videos, the more the videos get shared to more people. So if you like what this message is that we're sharing, hit that like button. Share that link out with other people. Share these links even into your social media posts or other things. Get it out there. The more people that view them and the more people that hit the like button on them, the more YouTube will share this automatically with people. Let's get YouTube's algorithm to spread the gospel to more people by liking and commenting and sharing these videos. That's going to help us make YouTube do the missionary work basically for us. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.